Good morning. It's Monday, October something. Um, I'm usually not very mentally active in the mornings, but I figured I'd share something. I did some Googling this morning to see what's going on in the Scientology world, um, the world of celebrities, and in theta, and pulling things in and whatever, all the little terminologies. I wanted to talk about Elizabeth Moss because she's a great actress. She's getting it's getting quite a bit of work, and I wanted to talk about. Now, I don't know her history. I don't know how long she's been in. I don't know if she's a convert or if she was born into it. I never knew any Mosses working at the mission, or at CC. But I wanted to give you a for instance on how you get someone like her. And when I say like her, I don't know her at all. But a pretty little young starlet who is got a budding career in acting. So we walk up in Melrose. We walk up and down Melrose Avenue, Fairfax Avenue, Hollywood Boulevard, Sunset, all hours. And sell books, or sometimes we do surveys. Now, since I wasn't in the Sea Org, I didn't have the blue uniform, but the popular question is, how do you fall for this stupid shit? Well, if I were to ask you how you would, if there was a way to improve your life, and I went through the whole examples and spiels, and some people will respond to that. A lot of people will respond to that. Now, when they find out it's Scientology, they may bail if they've already heard about it. But if they haven't, or if they are the type of person who has an open mind and will judge for themselves what Scientology is, then they've got a real problem on their hands. If you're open-minded, then you're more susceptible to this sort of thing, because you're going to give someone a chance to explain themselves. I've heard all this horrible stuff about Scientology. Well, you get trained as a Scientologist to handle these originations. That's what they call them, originations, or considerations. So for a person like Elizabeth Moss, I've seen, on Melrose Avenue, we had so many aspiring actors and musicians and poets and playwrights and script writers and directors, creative people. And CC offers acting classes, so I would imagine that Elizabeth Moss, well, I'll just say how we would have done it. We would have stopped her on the side of the street and been very genuine and smile and excuse me, I would be polite and excuse ourselves for being rude and just stopping someone and interrupting them, doing whatever they're doing. We don't know what they're doing. They might have to be somewhere at a certain time, an audition or whatever. So apologize for that and ask if they wouldn't mind helping with us with a survey. And in that survey, there'd be real general questions like, overall, how would you rate your level of happiness in life? Are you experiencing the degree of success that you would like? If there was a way to understand people's emotions and why they do things that they do, would you be interested in learning that? And as I said, it takes a special kind of person, either a special kind of stupid or a special kind of smart. Special kind of stupid to go knowing what Scientology is, and a special kind of smart knowing what Scientology is and making your own decision about it. Now the problem comes in is if they've made their own, if they're going to make their own decision about it, many times they'll find something in Scientology that does have some applicability to life. For instance, the tone scale, the big thing that the actors like. It's a very wide range of emotional states. And I know many actors who bought the tone scale poster and hung it up in their house to practice. In fact, at the Celebrity Center acting classes, they have a giant tone scale that they use for demonstration. And they pick a tone, emotional tone, and have people go up there and act it out. So this is a kind of exercise that you might find in a different way at an acting school. Except you're not getting love bombed, and you're not being told that you'll be the best there ever is and that you can be the best that there ever is. And you're probably also, in the beginning in Scientology, they look at things prospectively. So if you see someone who you think may be a good actor, who's had a role or two, then you may love bomb that person and give them some free services, maybe a little free auditing to get their, wet their whistle. And if anything in their experience turns out to be positive, then that positive stuff is reinforced. And then, of course, all of the negative press is negated, and ethics very skillfully, in our case, we had a lot of skilled manipulators. Ethics will essentially start to reprogram or deprogram or implant the person to start disbelieving media, friends, family. Because after all, the person standing in front of you is the one that you are judging. In other words, how could someone say something about Scientology when they haven't experienced it themselves? I read that Elizabeth Moss was kind of vulgar at one of an awards ceremony. It's not surprising. Scientologists can be very, very vulgar and inappropriate to get their point across, or just to make an impact or give you what they call an R factor, which is kind of like a shock to your emotions. shock your emotions and get you fearing something. Usually you're fearing for your soul, because the whole goal of auditing is to free yourself so that when you die, you're not lost and confused and coming back to earth to grab another body without knowing who you were before. So it kind of fits in with a lot of alternative spiritual practices or beliefs. And if you are someone who's getting some good gigs, then they slack off on you on how hardcore they want you to be. You can still have your crystals and your candles and your Buddha and on your, whatever you have, and talk about it even. But for most of us, that's not the case. It's Scientology all the way or nothing. A lot of people like her were body routed straight off of the street into the mission or the church. Okay.